informal settlements that are not officially recognized. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says they can no longer turn a blind eye to criminality.
We are tired as government now. We'll deal with that situation because it's quite clear that this syndicate thinks that they can collect money, invade land, and nothing happens to them. If we have to meet in court, we'll meet in court, but we are going to destroy those informal settlements.
Lesufi adds when informal settlements are left to expand, they eventually become extra burdens on the state.
Immediately after that informal settlement is established, what do people need? They need water. They need a school. They need scholar transport to be taken to the nearest school. They will then come and say they need sewer. They need roads. And we don't have, so we have to move money from those that are obedient to satisfy those obedient because they can close roads or they can go on a public platform and insult us.
The DA in the Western Cape says the SAP's caseload crisis faced by provincial detectives is a threat to justice. In a recent provincial parliament reply, SAP's revealed the average caseload per detective in the Western Cape stands at 111. This is almost double the best practice benchmark of 60. The DA says this is an untenable workload and is undermining the ability of detectives to properly investigate cases. The party's Benedictive and Minen says even more alarming is that 14 police precincts have detectives managing 200 or more dockets each. She says this is unsustainable and poses a direct threat to community safety.
The SAP's management is setting detectives up for failure by overloading them with impossible caseloads. A detective who is expected to manage over 100 dockets cannot deliver quality investigations that lead to successful prosecutions. This directly undermines justice for victims and emboldens criminals.
Staying in the Western Cape, the provincial administration has filed papers to the Constitutional Court to challenge the validity of the National Health Insurance Act. The provincial government says it's done so to defend the constitutional rights of Western Cape residents to take part in the lawmaking process and to be heard in Parliament. Western Cape Health and Wellness MEC Murray Winger says the universal health policy was rushed without giving people in the province a chance to comment on the legislation that was signed into law last year. Babalo Ndenze reports.
The Western Cape government filed its challenge to the NHI on Tuesday and wants the legislation declared unconstitutional and invalid. Western Cape Health and Wellness MEC Murray Winger says the implementation of the NHI Act will involve a major and complex restructuring of healthcare services in South Africa, including the services which are currently provided by provincial governments. She adds that the passage of the bill required extensive and meaningful public participation. The provincial government believes that the National Council of Provinces failed to consider the views of the people of the Western Cape when it deliberated on the NHI bill and did not meet its obligation to facilitate meaningful public participation. Wenger says the NHI is likely one of the most significant and controversial statutes in South African democratic history, which was rushed through the NCOP without considering or deliberating on any substantive input arising from the public participation. Premier Ellen Wendy added that the province is standing up for the right of every South African to have a meaningful voice in how laws are made. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News.
Order has been restored at Vista High School in the Boerkaap after pupils disrupted classes due to the high teacher turnover rate. Western Cape Education says about 40 learners refused to enter the school grounds yesterday morning. The department is now meeting with pupils to address their behaviour and an academic improvement plan. Here's the department's Brona Hammond.
An academic improvement plan has been developed to improve learner outcomes. Now, this includes teacher development programs, telematics program, the Back on Track program, and after-school weekend and holiday tutoring programs.
Moving to Newsmaking International headlines, one of Australia's most decorated soldiers has lost his final legal bid against 3 national newspapers, which implicated him in war crimes while serving in Afghanistan. Ben Roberts-Smith sued the publications for defamation over their reports in 2018, which claimed he had committed war crimes. In 2023, a judge found he was complicit in the murder of 4 unarmed civilians while deployed in Afghanistan. He tried to appeal this ruling, which was dismissed by the federal court in May. Robert Smith then tried to get a special leave application to challenge the previous finding. That was rejected today. Moving to the markets now, gold is trading at $3,540, 1 cent an ounce. The rand's 17.78 to the dollar, 23.90 to the pound, 20.71 to the euro, and Brent crude is trading at $67, 2 cents a barrel.
Devlin heading towards Eldorado Park. We still have roadworks causing some delays. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Also, further down the Golden Highway in the Lenasia area, roadworks also slowing down traffic. This is between Fun Valley and the R554.
It's a fine day forecast for Johannesburg with a low of 12 and a high of 29 degrees. Pretoria 31, Vereniging 30, and another partly cloudy day in Cape Town with a low of 12 and a high of 23 degrees. The top story this hour. The Gauteng government is committed to clamping down on informal settlements, saying it plans to demolish 400 in the province.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
The famous Super Lotto draw takes place tonight with a mouth-watering payout of 957 million rand. All you have to do is choose 6 lucky numbers and place your bets on Super Lotto on lottoland.co.za. Will you be the next big winner on Lottoland? Place your bets now. Lottoland changes lives.
No person under the age of 18 years permitted to gamble. Lottoland South Africa is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. National Responsible Gambling Program toll-free council line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja.
Live, streaming countrywide
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. I hope you are having a fantastic one. Glad to be back. I was a little bit ill yesterday and while out of town, and I'm feeling so much better. Thank goodness for concoctions and things like that. Coming up on the show, I want to find out from all of you, what was the reason that you were given for returning to the office, and what do you think the real reason was? I'm going to share a theory that a gentleman has here on why we were all made to return to offices as working folks. Our Belief Matters feature, what role does water play in spirituality? Will it be joined by Ndondom Gomezulu, who's a spiritual teacher and author, for that conversation. And don't forget, you can send us an email 0727021702 if you would like to recommend a topic for our Belief Matters feature. Anything around religion, spirituality, beliefs and culture, we'll get the expert to answer the question for you. Then we wrap up with Wendy Nolan, our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows. And we are going to be talking about a pilot project between We Buy Cars and View for You, and that coming to an end, along with all of your other consumer rights issues. So get in touch with us. Give us a call, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
What is the reason that you were given to have to come back to work, to be physically in the office? And I want you to be honest about what the reason is, because we all adjusted in 2020 when it was lockdown. People started working from home, so much so that there are many other companies who even now continue to have a hybrid model where staff only needs to come in once a week, some of them even once a month. But there are others who are made to come back to the office full time. I'm curious as to the reason that was given to you. What did your bosses say is the reason that you have to come back and work from the office? And what do you think the real reason is that you were told to work from the office and come back? Is it around the fact that, did they say team energy? Did they say teamwork makes the dream work? Did they say that they need to see you doing your work? Did they speak about energy? What is it that was shared with all of you as to why it is you needed to come back to the office? Now, there's a man who has this theory. He goes by the name of Shackleton Jones. And he was sharing some reasons that I have never considered, ever. And we're going to take note of the fact that this person is from the US, but the principles still remain. And here are some of the things that he had to say, and I want you to share with us if you think these are the reasons why we need to be or should be coming back, or why we were made to come back to offices.
One of the main reasons you're being asked to go back into the office is because middle-aged men don't get on with their wives. And I wish that I could say that I was joking, but I worked for one of the big four during the pandemic. And towards the end, we did quite a lot of research around who wanted to return to the office. And it was disproportionately senior, predominantly male partners. And we scratched our heads around this. And the most likely explanation seems to be that they're just not receiving the same deference as they're used to. They just don't feel as important because they go home and they're asked to do things like help out around the house, have conversations with their wives, take the cat to the vets. Whereas in the office, they're used to people doffing their caps and scraping and bowing and marching around and giving orders and dressing up in suits. And they just desperately need to resume that kind of an existence. So they have to go back into the office so they can be worshipped. And you need to be there because you're a worshipper.
Oh, what do you think about that? That you were made to come back to the office because a group of men, but I'm going to include women in that, in management, that need to feel important, need to feel heard, need to feel powerful, because maybe at their homes, they are not getting that kind of love and response and feedback. And I never considered that because on some level, I was like, well, some of these offices paid 5-year leases and now the rent needs to be used or needs to be justified. Those are some of the reasons I thought people had to return to the office, but I never considered the fact that there are managers that genuinely need their managering to be felt. They want their leadership to be felt. So let me know your thoughts and your experiences on that. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Swing into spring with Hollywood Bet Spinner Zonke, where a sea of floral fun, epic adventures, and blooming beautiful games await. Reap red-hot riches and whimsical wins with our sparkling spring-themed slots. The season's luck is in full bloom, so dive in and grab your chance to unravel an endless supply of thrilling treasures and claim sensational rewards when you bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
They've stood tall, served hard, and dreamed big. Now it's time to honor the best among them. It's Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Tune in on Tuesday, the 9th of September from 6 a.m. when we reveal the winners and celebrate the excellence that makes Gauteng feel like home. Because every time a business wins, the whole community shines. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Let Yoko counter-fuel your business to greatness. Go to yoko.com to explore the new point of sale solution, saving hundreds of businesses time and money.
One festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Toliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster. 702 and corporates that care with Ekwele are talking about Ekwele's commitment to uplifting communities across South Africa.
From Ekwele's side, we get a lot of requests for water. I think that access to clean drinking and safe water has become a daily challenge for many people. So we get a lot of requests. We really deliver hundreds and thousands of bottles every year. Recently, we saw a need for a more longer-term solution, more sustainable water solutions. When we turned 25, we delivered 25 water tanks to 25 communities all over South Africa. And it was really heartwarming to see what a difference a tank can make. The first tank we put up was at a school in Groutville, and KwaZulu-Natal, and the principal told us now they don't need to close their school anymore because sometimes they had to close school early because they didn't have water.
Ekwele, making a positive impact one drop at a time.
Learn more at ekwele.co.za.
702, let's walk the talk.
Spend your afternoon
With Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
16 minutes after 1 o'clock, we are talking about the reasons you were given to return back to the office after in lockdown you were working from home. Now, I'm not going to ignore the fact that working from home was difficult for many people. It wasn't actually the amazing solution for everybody. There are people who had to be at home with their children, and now they're trying to teach class and look after their kids while doing work at the same time. But there are many people who wanted to work from home. It saved them petrol. It helped them with some kind of saving of time with the travel to and from work. It's helped them with so many things that it was actually beneficial for many people to work from home. So now at some point, we find out that, okay, cool, we're transitioning back. But some people were told you need to come back full time. And I'm curious as to what the reasons were given to you as to why it is you need to come back. As the audio was that we played from Shackleton Jones on TikTok, where he says he believes that the reason people were made to come back to offices to work is so that their bosses could basically feel important, that the bosses can come where maybe at home they're not this important person, they're being asked to change diapers, help with certain things that they themselves, it doesn't leave them feeling important. And I don't know if this is the case. Do you find that for you there is no benefit in working from the office, or are you those individuals who like, Relebogile, I need a very clear breakup point between where I'm working and also where my life is happening. I need a very clear point where I'm able to switch off, that when I leave the office, I close that laptop and I'm done. This thing of working from home actually didn't work for me, so I'm glad we're all forced back into the office. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702 702. Here are some of your voice notes.
Hey, with me, Relebogile, that big boss of mine told me that I have to come to work because he can't be alone at work. That was the reason. All the other people were still working from home. With me, I was closer to him, reporting all my activities and everything closer to him, helping him to attend his meetings and make better presentations. So he just needed me to be there. I could do it at home. I used to do it at home, but that's what he preferred. Thank you.
Yo, at least he was honest, but I would be so upset if my boss says you need to come work so that I'm not alone here. What do you mean? Yo, no, guys. Awa.
Hi, Relebogile. On the topic of returning back to the office, I hear the gentleman's point of view and I agree and disagree at the same time. But I think based on the organization that I'm in, it is a bit more efficient for us to get things done when we are all in the same space as a team. Because when you are working from home, you needed something from someone to be executed. or somebody needs something from you and they have to Teams you, try to get hold of you. So when we're in the office, I can just call out your name or you call out my name and things get moving. It's just better efficiency and just having that team spirit. But yes, we still have a day to work from home, which we appreciate. But outside of that, it's just about being with the people that you work with.
That is so true that some managers, they feel so small when they're home, and they crave that power. So they want everybody to come back to the office so they can flaunt their superiority and just to show you that they are the boss. Because at home, they don't get to do that. They don't get to play boss at home because the wife is the boss. I think that's the way it is. So that is so true. And any employee can see if a manager wants to just flaunt their superiority. And yeah, I think that's also one of the reasons why a lot of people, they look for different jobs, because usually people stay because of the manager, but they also leave because of the manager. So you have a toxic manager, you're definitely going to leave.
Yo. I even remember there was a time where certain people were made to come back to work because they said you guys were like lying about being on the machine. You were attaching something to the mouse so it looks like you're working, but you're not working. Like, whose job is it at the office to log onto your computer to check that you're working? Do you not have other things to do? And also, it just sounds like a lot. Let me read some of your messages on the WhatsApp line. Hi, Relebogile, I've worked from home for the past 6 years. My boss would never ask me to come back because I was never physically in the office to begin with. We are a global team, so unless they want to give us work visas to the States, we will all be staying put for the foreseeable future. I love it for you. Dumelang, Relebogile. That man is spot on, from Mingos in Vereniging. Good day, Relebogile and team. Sadly, where I work is a matter of showing power. As such, we came before most people went back to the offices so they can micromanage us. And because us being here, they can show their power and control over us from M to M around the corner. Relebogile, that guy is 100% correct. I can't believe how many of you are agreeing. Noni says, hi, Lebo and team. The bosses were just tired of little men moving the mouse. Oh, guys. The little men moving the mouse is killing me. Hi, this is from Judy. In my opinion, working from home has called into question the credibility of some businesses and has damaged brands. Close neighbors are able to observe people supposedly working from home. And I'm talking senior people in big banks. And I talk from experience of working in a very senior position in a large financial institution. Banks need to reassess their policies. I believe, and they mention a bank already has, I'm not going to mention the bank. I am not aware of the thing that you are mentioning there, but thank you so much for those messages. And advise, are you happier that you're back at the office? And we note, of course, there are certain professions where physically being there is required. If you're a photographer, you have to physically be there. For us, yes, we can broadcast from other places, but it's ideal for you to broadcast in studio, physically, not what we were doing before, which was online when the lockdown was quite bad. You can tell the difference in the quality of the broadcast. But these are some of the things that we need to think about as the kind of job that you're in. But I do know of people in corporate who, if anything, they say they are less productive being back at the office than when they were working from home. Now back at the office, it's chit-chat, it's coffee breaks, it's people disturbing you, you can't concentrate, you don't have that flow where you had solid work blocks. It's like after and before a meeting, there's talking. Now you end up having to do work when you get home. Somebody sent me a picture on the WhatsApp line of, it's like a wig head with hair and glasses on and a mask so that they can pretend to be in a meeting and not be. in a meeting. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Here are more of your voice notes.
Hi, Lebogile. Coming from an IT background, the reason why they had people checking what was happening on the people's PCs remotely was as a result of loss of productivity, and also people took the time to do other things at their homes, like go shopping, take care of the kids and all the rest. And at the end of the day, it just resulted in people not being as productive. But in every company's policy, they have got that written into it, that you can actually log on and you can have a look at the activity that's happening on the PC. So you can look at it per keystroke, or you can look at it as a range of tasks.
Ooh, I'd love to find out about those keystrokes that you check out. But I hear you. And I mean, I would expect that if during lockdown and you're in your home with your kids and potentially sick people, productivity is going to go down. But when kids were back at school, did that not change? Like, what happened after that? A message says, on work from home at whatever company that I'm not going to mention, we went almost 99% remote. We work remotely all over the world and meet once a year as a team. Work is amazing, and we threw one of our biggest conferences in Kigali. We were there, but it was delivered remotely till we flew there. So there is an option for you. We go to the lines. Lesego and Bryanston. Hi, Lesego.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Fantastic. So I'm caught up in this because our agency, I'm part of being an employer. So what we've learned is that COVID has taught us the fact that the world has changed, and you can work from home and you can work at the office. The reason why most employers wanted people to come back into the office is because not all team members were pulling together. You know, you have the 20% that works diligently at home, does everything, but ultimately carries the rest of the 80%, because the 80% generally don't show up for their clients. And their clients speak with their wallets. If you don't satisfy me as a provider, I'm going to move away. I'm going to go somewhere. So that most brands were starting to take a knock, where people were saying, I am working, and I'm doing what I'm expected to be doing. But when you follow up with the client says, but I haven't heard from your guy in 3 or 4 days, or I was expecting it to have been done at this particular time. Unfortunately, it's not micromanaging, but you know, people take it lightly that if those clients leave, then you're going to find yourself in a situation where you have to also retrench people. So it's not necessarily retrenching people. As early as 2016 and 17, we're already talking about how do we make sure that we decrease the amount of coffee that's drank at the office, or the amount of telephone, the cost of telephone, the things like your people just wasting time at the office. We do actually want people to be working from home, but when they do work from home, they need to be productive. And unfortunately, the reality is that majority of the people that get to work from home on a full-time basis don't do that. And when they come out onto in a public platform, it makes it look like the employer wants to micromanage. But the reality is that if clients walk away, then jobs are going to be lost as well.
So look, you're raising a very important point around productivity, right? So my view, and maybe it doesn't apply to the industry you're in, and maybe help me understand, is if a person knows what their outputs are you measuring productivity against how much can you get done within these 8 hours, or you need to have delivered this to me within these 8 hours?
Yeah, so that's a trick question, because if you look at it this way, there are people that can work for 45 minutes and give you the best outcomes that you require, while there are people that can be around for 8 hours and not do anything. So it's not necessarily making sure that you measure the hours that they're at the office. But some people, unfortunately, you need to actually sit there and look at whether they are delivering what they're supposed to be delivering. Whether it takes them 45 minutes, if they do it at the office and it takes them 45 minutes and they've done their work for the full day, they can go and be merry and do what they need. But unfortunately, the reality is that some people, even if you said to them, only come to the office once, some people do take, don't do what they're supposed to do and take advantage of that. And the first thing when you say, now we have to institute a 189, which means we have to let go of people, they're like, no, the company is not fair. But the reality is that they don't look at what have I contributed to letting the company down. How many clients have left because of my behavior as an employee as well? So it's a two-way. Personally, I would love to not have people in the office because, one, we don't sell a tangible thing. We sell intellectual capacity, so we're in a financial consulting environment. So I do want people to be at the clients, not to be at home, to be at their clients where they've got freedom of choice and they're seeing their clients and they're interacting with their clients and they're building those very formidable relationships with the clients. Because if they don't, a competitor is going to get into that space and the client is gone.
All right, Lessegon Bryanston, thank you so much for sharing as employers why some people had to be brought back from working from home. Productivity. Let's hear from all of you when we come back. It's just after 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. City Power has suspended all prepaid meter conversions scheduled between August the 27th and the 1st of November. This is so the utility company can investigate financial and operational concerns raised about the process and ensure that it's handled fairly and correctly. The prepaid electricity metering was introduced back in 2010 for Joburg customers. However, City Power says recent reviews have raised concerns that need to be addressed before further conversions are done. The Departments of Water and Sanitation, as well as Forestries, Fisheries and the Environment, say they're pleased that people will be held accountable for the tragic failures of the 2022 Jagersfontein Tailings Dam. 2 people died and another is still missing after the tailings dam at the diamond processing operation in the Free State collapsed almost 3 years ago. 5 people face several charges, including murder, and are expected to appear in court next Wednesday in connection with the mining waste disaster. And in the Western Cape, the provincial government will today again call for the devolution of policing powers during a sitting in the House in the provincial legislature. A separate call from the province's Police Oversight and Community Safety Department for a plan to deploy detectives based on crime trends and caseload pressure will also be heard. We'll have more on these and other stories at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun.
Thanks, Relebogile. Well, at this stage in the Devland area, we still have those roadworks causing delays. This is on the Golden Highway heading towards Eldorado Park between Union Avenue and the N1. Also in and out of the Joburg CBD, there's slow-moving traffic still. This is on Main Reef Road between Production and Anderson Street. Also in the Brom area, expect some delays on Empire Road between Jan Smart and the M1. Edenville traffic lights still not working at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Explore the wonders of Mpumalanga. Discover the ultimate wildlife experience that brings you closer to nature. Get your adrenaline rush with endless adventure activities. Explore breathtaking 4x4 routes or hike the Blyde River Canyon, the 3rd largest in the world. Unwind with spectacular landscapes and majestic waterfalls. Make Mpumalanga your destination of choice. Mpumalanga, embrace the unknown, live the adventure.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
This isn't an event, it's a statement. When you choose Thirst Mobile Bar Services, you choose confidence without spectacle. These discreet mobile bars come with expert mixologists and service that speaks louder than words. Every detail refined, every pour intentional, every guest remembered. Thirst Mobile Bar Services, the perfect ingredient, the perfect outcome for those who expect more and settle for nothing less. Secure your year-end date now at thirst.co.za.
Your voice.
Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
24 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we are talking about working from home. And when the lockdown ended, I think it was around 2021 when things started opening up, what were the reasons given to you to return to the office physically? There are some people who have kept in a hybrid model where they're working. Others were told you all need to come back. What was the reason you were given? What is the real reason you were asked to come back? We played the audio of Shackleton Jones from TikTok, who shared that he believes the reason people were made to come back and work from the office is because of micromanaging leaders and managers who needed their authority and leadership to be felt. Because at home, maybe you're not this important somebody, you're being asked to change diapers, wash dishes, help around. But at the office, when you come in, everybody knows who's in charge. Everybody knows what's up. Is that what you think the reason is, that people were made to come back to work from their desks? We've already had, speaking on behalf as an employer, one of our listeners, Lesego, who said, no, it's because of productivity. People are not doing the things that they were supposed to be doing. And that is why. That is why some people had to come back to the office, because not all of them have that self-discipline and what it takes to be working from home and still delivering. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Here are some of your voice notes.
Hi, 702. Name's John. I just like to say that working from home and having office with office space and offices and open plans, etc. for staff, I'm paying rent as a boss. I need those places filled, otherwise I must close these offices down, and I have contracts and long-time leases to give the people that I have in the office a job. So yes, they must come back to work. COVID is over and done with.
Hi, Relebogile. Working from home is all part of moving towards the fourth industrial revolution, which is everything is digitized. Most companies have actually transformed their companies while the employees are working remotely, and which is a benefit for the country and for the world and for South Africa at large. So sending people back just because of certain feelings is not how things work. Everything is remote now.
Greetings, my sister. Yeah, the issue of working home, I think one of the reasons why they call people back to the offices, especially the companies that are owning those buildings, you'll find that there's a complex that has rented out some restaurants. Now those tenants are no longer making money. As a result, the company ought to call the staff back to the office so that they may go also support the very same people who are actually renting their buildings. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Relebogile. So I know somebody who had two jobs because they were both they were both, he worked from home. So one was in Cape Town, one was in in Pretoria. So yeah, he was holding down two jobs because neither employer would find out about the other. And he was actually delivering.
You see? He was delivering. Here are more of your messages that have come through. One says, Relebogile, please keep me anonymous. You know, they have a way of checking if you're online. An executive once said employees keep their laptops on but stay on one page of their screen for hours. All of that just sounds so exhausting. I'm just like, at some point, if you have to watch what people are doing on their laptops, did you not hire the wrong people? At what point do you, as a hiring manager, say, maybe we hired the wrong people because I have to actually log on to see if they're moving to another page? I'm so curious about that. Hi, Relebogile. I'm one of those people who can be more productive at home with no disturbances. When I go to the office for 3 days a week, we're not productive at all. But maybe it's difficult for other people to be disciplined working from home, like the previous lady said, because, of course, it doesn't apply to everybody. Mpumi in Bromfontein, hi.
Hi, Relebogile. I'm working for a university. My name is Mpumi.
Yes.
I would like to believe that not every company or entity can have employees working from home. I'm in the university. Our classes are face-to-face. Our academic staff is here on a daily basis, and us as an admin people, we also have to be here in person. Otherwise, the university will have to shut down. That means all our classes have to be online, and no students will come to campus. And I believe that the young ones, they want the feel and the experience of a campus. So everybody with us, everybody, even the admin staff, even though sometimes we moan about it and say, no, we can't be here, but reasonably, understandably so, we have to be here for the students and for the academic staff because our role is to support, to provide support.
And I think, Mpumi, obviously there's certain jobs that it would not make sense that you work from home.
Yes.
I mean, I would not want my neurosurgeon to be working on my brain from home, even though technically they can. They can now. Technology has allowed them to do so. My gynae was helping deliver a set of triplets in another continent from here. So those things can happen, but I hear you completely, and I completely understand. There are some people who flourish, learn better in class, in a group as well. One says, in fairness to the employer, you need to earn the right to work from home. If you're producing, then great. If you're not, then you should come back to the office. I'm wondering with this question, if you need to earn the right to work from home. I mean, as the previous voice note said, is like we're moving into a 4IR era. We need to be preparing for it, not adjusting ourselves. That's the world we're going into. The era of physical offices is slowly changing. And those things become major overheads for businesses. Major overheads. One anonymous says, the work from home model is terrible for us that stay at home, for us as stay-at-home moms. We now have to feed breakfast, lunch, snacks, and not make noise. I can't even liquidize tomatoes because he's in a meeting. Take them back to work, please. I never thought of it that way. You guys are stressing the stay-at-home moms. Husbands, go back to work. Because also that's mom's, like stay-at-home mom's time to just do the things that she needs to do. Our last voice notes on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Mike here. Let's not fool ourselves. The main reason why people are being pulled back into the office is because of productivity. There are global and local studies, and I have seen them, that the productivity levels and that are through the floor. People are not doing what they say they're doing. Companies are not getting a fair 8-hour day. And it's not working. And it is 90% of the time, it is productivity. Simple as that. And companies are renting office space again, taking up shared office space, doing all sorts of stuff to get people back into the office because productivity in some cases is through the.
Hi there, Louis from Pretoria. For the guy who's the boss who has a contract, whether the office are full or not, why do you need your people there? People are seriously unhappy in offices. I hate going to the office.
Yo, I hear you. Look, and it's different for everybody. And I think what might work for the employers is suss out your people. There's some people who actually prefer to work from the office that will come in and be productive. And there are others who don't. And if you're like the team needs to meet, make it a once a week thing. Bukhebe Ndalo says the work from home is horrible and also a threat to the corporate sector. I mean, change if dynamics. Another person says people who work from home say they're stressed. We can't even listen to gospel loud. You guys must also see those memes of people who say the reason they can't work from home is because their African parents will still make them chop vegetables. They don't understand this concept of working from home. I hear it does not make sense. For as long as you're in the house, you're free to wash dishes. Now you're in a meeting washing dishes because your parents are like, yay, you must continue. Thank you so much for all of your messages, voice notes, and calls.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Police have confirmed that the 121 dockets of the KwaZulu-Natal Police Political Killings Task Team have been returned to the province for the continuation of investigations. The dockets containing mostly murders committed in KZN were submitted to the police headquarters in March this year. KZN Police Head Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi raised concerns that they were sitting gathering dust in Gauteng after they were allegedly taken by Deputy Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibia.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
In Africa, over 200 million people live with disabilities, yet they remain largely excluded from our workplaces and boardrooms. When we remove barriers and create inclusive opportunities, we unlock potential that drives innovation and growth. Africa Ticken is proudly hosting the inaugural Valuable 500 Africa Disability Summit, bringing together business leaders, policymakers, and disability advocates to drive systemic change. To find out more, visit Africa Ticken, that's TIKKUN.org/Valuable 500. Transform your workplace, transform Africa's future.
In a world where everything is instant, some things are worth slowing down for. You took the time to build a life of distinction. Every moment, every milestone, every decision. At Indwe, we take the time to understand your world and craft insurance solutions to protect it. Because true peace of mind is the greatest luxury of all. The right insurance starts with a conversation. It starts with helloindwe.co.za. Indwe Risk Services is an authorized financial services provider.
Backed by popular demand, legendary jazz icon Kenny G will be performing at the Super Bowl at Sun City on Friday, the 3rd of October. Get ready for an unforgettable night of timeless hits and pure musical magic. Get your tickets from webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Breakout Events and 702.
702.
Belief matters.
Exploring culture, traditions, religion,
and the beliefs that shape our world.
11 minutes to 2 o'clock, and our Beliefs Matters feature for today. We are talking about the role of water in spirituality, and I want to hear from all of you what that all means, and maybe you felt a connection with water without ever being able to articulate what it is or what it felt like. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. We're joined by spiritual teacher and author Ndondom Gomezulu. but you have another name. Please share it with us.
Kokovula.
Just come up to your mic.
Kokovula Kundabaloy.
Oh, and what does that mean?
Kokovula. Koko is a great ancestor.
Yes.
Vula, it's a system of opening.
Yes.
You know? And then Kundabaloy is like Kunda is to cut.
Yes.
And then Baloi is witches or evil and stuff like that. So these are my two great ancestors. You know, these old people had names which would sound funny, but they always had meanings, like they are giving name to dogs, you know, but they were given to people, you know. Yeah.
And I have to I've literally just turned my camera on. Everybody can head over to our YouTube channel on 702. Please talk to us about your attire, which is bright red. There is a hat which kind of reminds me of the marching band kind of hats, plus the red and the gold. Talk to me about the outfit. I promise we'll post it.
My journey is very long in spirituality. I was wearing leopard and those animal skins and stuff. So came a time when we ascend. I always have said, the one that you look upon or call crazy is the one we sent to take you back home. What is home? Home is where we have the trait life of our primitives, which is great-grands. So these guys came to me and said, this leopard totem thing, everybody is wearing it, even those who are lying, even those who are doing rituals, killing people and promising you wealth, they are wearing that leopard thing. So they actually ordered me to actually take a break on the leopard and the skin thing, and I asked what to wear now, because this is what I've grown up wearing. And they said, you are the ship captain in spirituality, you are the pilot. So I had to opt for the vintage army red, and I wear also gold and white for the ship captain and the pilot. But I'm not captaining the ship. The ship I'm captaining is this spiritual thing that I'm actually doing.
Okay, so now where does water come into the picture? I've shared this so many times, and I don't know if it's even correct gore motho can describe themselves as a water baby. But I say I'm a water baby because whenever I was a child, I would never want to leave the swimming pool. Even now, I'm happiest when I'm by the ocean, by the beach, or there needs to just be a body of water close by. Talk to me about what it means in spirituality.
I like you for privileging me to be here. When I don't talk and teach spiritual stuff, I get sick or bored or something. I don't have the descriptive word for it.
Really?
Imagine when you were not going to have water at all and the planet. I'll take this thing to you, like as I answered. That feeling of being thirsty, heavily, heartily thirsty. The heat around you when you feel that the only thing that can actually cool you down is water. You know, the only thing that can quench your thirst is water, even if you have to have the drink. What kind of a drink? Now you have these, what do you call them? These energy drinks and,
and
you know,
rehydration.
Drinks. Yes. Even if you have that one, how much expensive you will have buy it, but it won't replace what water will do to you. Let's look at how we get to have water. There is water from water, you know, where evaporation takes place, and then it evaporates into the air and then be clouds and form sort of an ice stuff, you know, that wraps each other to the moment whereby water has got to fall from what you call the clouds, which comes from sort of vaporous smoke into ice and stuff. And then you have the formations of the thunder, which is now what you call sort of a message or something that talks to the people, to the world, to the universe. There, when you come to a thing called cleansing, that's water that come into place. What makes water spiritual? Water is not just water. There are creatures in the water which makes even water more spiritual. And for the fact that the water comes down to earth and move up to the clouds and then comes down again. Every dirty that we have known from our birth has been cleaned by water. All the heat has been quenched by the water. Water is spiritual. It actually carries some certain energies, whereby I will say everything is spiritual, but water is more spiritual amongst 5 other spiritual things that I will not mention now, so that you call me again.
But what I love about water is we all know that it's used for many things culturally. For example, cleansing. And I say cleansing, not bathing, because it's two different things. What does water help in terms of it being a medium to transfer certain, is energies the right word?
Yes, energies, spiritual energies. Let me tell you something. There is a thing called muti. I'm just relating to water. I'm not bringing in the issue of muti. I always have told people that muti alone doesn't work. So it has to have certain energies. Let's come to this water, ma'am. Water has got natural energies that is meant for cleansing than quenching the thirst.
Okay, so in terms of how we can incorporate water in our daily lives to get closer to who we are, because I feel like that's the spiritual journey, is returning to self. What are some of the things that we can do? And yes, guys, you must bath every day if you're wondering. But what are the other ways we can use water in different spiritual practices? I see some people like to light their tea light candles in a bowl of water, for example. What are the other ways that water can be used?
Before we even get there, first of all, what we need to apply into when water is concerned spiritually, we need to respect water. Water can be angry, water can be excited, water can be happy, water has an action. Even in your dreams, when you dream of the water dirty in that flood river, it means something very negative. When you dream it clean, it means something very positive. People are lacking the respect of water. I will give you an example of the rivers and the pools and all these river places that are within and amongst people. I will give you an example of Jaskei, just here around us. Jaskei sometimes gets angry and wipe off people especially during rain season. And other people have come with excuses to say, yeah, it will do that because it is amongst people. It crosses within people in the townships. But there are things that we lack the respect that our great-grands, our primitives, our forefathers had for water. The people now believe that water have come to place in human lives because Vasco da Gama came as a missionary and he introduced the church and he introduced the baptism, and then the water thing took place in spirituality. No. Water has been long respected and having relationship with human beings. Each and every place, go to your rural places where people or are still more and much into these spiritual things and go in the lives of their forefathers in spirituality. They are in relationship with certain pools of the river, certain parts of the river, where it is believed to have certain deities or certain things in the river, whereby our people would go there and consult with those things, not as gods, but as the masters and the managers of the waters that gave them the power, these energies that I speak about when it comes to the use of water spiritually, perhaps when a cleansing is needed.
I need to ask a question, and this is probably the worst time to be asking it because we're going to end the conversation.
Yes.
And maybe this will be when you come back. But do you believe that there are people who live predominantly in water? I've heard stories.
You have heard stories. I've seen people.
Yes.
I need time. People have called these fish person thing.
Yes.
What we call mythical stories.
Yes.
I've seen it with bare eyes. I don't know whether one day I will get a man that I was trying to help in a place called a river called Small River in Gagani in Newcastle. I was new at that place. I took that place very simple and the story is very easy. I took a man for a cleansing. So the river was kind of full. So when I approached the river, there's a tree called Umiezani. When I approached that thing, my body, my feeling, my visions tell me there is something strange there, but I don't know what it is. I shifted from
I'm going to ask us to pause on that because I'm going to need you to come back because we need to go to the news. And before we go, some of the messages. One says, Relebogile, after a long day, after bathing, I will hear myself saying, God, for this water because I feel so relieved. I even told my daughter when I'm bedridden, they must make sure that they keep bathing me. Another person says, Relebogile, water is life and without it, we would not exist, Sarah in Harties. And that applies on so many levels. So I'm going to ask, Ndondo, that you come back because I'm curious about this thing. I've heard about it, about certain communities and people, but I need to give you the ample time to talk about it. So thank you so much for coming through on Belief Matters. 7:02 afternoons at 702.co.za for any of the Belief Matters topics you want us to tackle. It's 2 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Natalie Malchas. City Power has suspended all prepaid meter conversions scheduled between August the 27th and the 1st of November. This is so the utility company can investigate financial and operational concerns raised about the process and ensure that it's handled correctly and fairly. The prepaid electricity metering was introduced back in 2010 for Johannesburg customers. However, City Power says recent reviews have raised concerns that need to be addressed before further conversions are done. City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena explains some of the concerns raised.
These concerns include customers who have converted to prepaid from postpaid meters but are no longer purchasing electricity, meaning that there are non-vending discrepancies in some accounts not being accurately reflected on City Power systems after conversions, and also the impact of prepaid tariff structures, which until July 2024 excluded fixed service and network charges.
The Departments of Water and Sanitation and Forestries, Fishery and the Environment said they're pleased that people will be held accountable for the tragic failure of the 2022 Jagersfontein tailings dam. 2 people died, another is still missing after the tailings dam tragedy at the diamond processing operation in the Free State when the dam collapsed almost 3 years ago. 5 suspects face several charges, including murder, and are expected to appear in court next Wednesday in connection with the mining waste disaster. Mining waste material was released into neighbouring areas, injuring dozens of people and destroying people's homes and livestock. Water and Sanitation spokesperson Wisane Mavasa says extensive probes were launched to determine the cause of the tragedy.
A criminal case docket was finalized and referred to the National Prosecution Authority in Bloemfontein, which has taken a decision to prosecute. The first court appearance is scheduled to take place on the 10th of September 2025 in the Magistrate Court in Jagersfontein, and it's anticipated that the case will be transferred to a higher court on the same day, with a full trial to follow.
In the Western Cape, Taxi Association CATA has confirmed one of its members in Luandle near Strand has been shot and killed. A High Court interdict is in place until October the 9th to end the recent taxi-related violence in Cape Town. In recent weeks, at least 5 people have been killed in the ongoing feud over routes. The interdict gives the Provincial Mobility Department the go-ahead to implement tougher measures if violence persists. Here's CATA's spokesperson, Kuleleko Sibia.
The member has passed on is a legit member of CATA, a former secretary of CATA Luandle. He was shot this morning and then he passed on.
Meanwhile, the Western Cape government will today again call for the devolution of policing powers during a sitting of the House in the provincial legislature. A separate call from the province's Police Oversight and Community Safety Department for a plan to deploy detectives based on crime trends and caseload pressure that will also be heard. Carlo Peterson has that story.
Statistics presented to the provincial parliament recently revealed the average caseload per detective in the province is 111, almost double the best practice benchmark of 60 cases. The DA spokesperson for Police Oversight and Community Safety, Benedicte van Minnen, says the caseload undermines the ability of detectives to investigate cases, delaying justice and allowing criminals to evade prosecution.
All statistics point to the fact that the national government has failed to adequately resource and support SAPS in the Western Cape. We urgently need intervention from the Minister of Police to devolve policing powers and ensure more detectives are recruited, properly trained and deployed in high crime areas.
Van Minnen says today's debate in the provincial legislature will serve as a critical platform to hold both the SAPS and the Parole Board accountable for their failure to protect citizens. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
In news from the continent, in Nigeria, 29 people have died and 2 others are still missing after an overloaded boat sank in a river in Niger State. It's understood the boat, carrying passengers including children, capsized when it struck a submerged tree stump. Reuters reports emergency services have so far been able to rescue 50 passengers. Boat accidents are fairly common in Nigeria, often due to overloading, poor regulation and inadequate safety precautions. We move now to the markets, where gold is trading at $3,540, 1 cent an ounce. The rand 17.78 to the dollar, 23.90 to the pound, 20.71 to the euro, and Brent crude is trading at $67.02 a barrel.
Well, in Devlin, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is due to road works on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Also, if you are traveling in and out of the Joburg CBD, expect some delays on Main Reef Road approaching Church Street due to faulty traffic lights. And there's also slow-moving traffic. That is in the Boksburg-Germiston area, N12 westbound between the R24 split and Croft Road.
It's a fine day in Johannesburg with a minimum of 12 and a maximum of 29 degrees. The top story this hour. City Power has suspended all prepaid meter conversions scheduled between August the 27th and the 1st of November.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. We're going to be jumping into what we do on a Thursday, which is Nola Knows, together with Wendy Nola. So we take your calls, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702.
Nola Knows.
Time for Nola Knows with Wendy Nola, as we do on a Thursday on 702 afternoons. We're going to chat 1 or 2 stories and then open up the lines for all of your consumer rights issues. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. If you have reached out to Wendy and she hasn't come back to you, please know she is super, super busy. But we'll do our best to take whatever stories we can on air. Happy Thursday, Wendy. How are you? Oh, are you on mute? Just check there, Wendy. I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. You are not on mute, so let us try and solve and see what the issue is. Let's try one more time. Wendy Nola? Oh, all right. We need to sort something out. There is a technical issue on our side, but I want to hear from all of you. I'm seeing a message saying, I spoke to Wendy 3 months ago. She hasn't responded. Guys, Wendy Nola is so in demand, but not just that. All of the assistance that she gives to all of us on air is voluntary in the gaps that she has to assist us, because she does have work as a consumer journalist, but we do our best to play catch up and to assist with your stories. I will encourage you also to catch up on other stories. Sometimes the issues that you have and challenges are things that we dealt with already on air and you already have your solution. So let's see, are we sorted with audio? Wendy, talk to me. All right, we're not. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will continue. Let us figure out what is happening on our side technically, and then we will have Wendy Nola in Nola Knows.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
An 81-year-old doctor from Free State has admitted to putting a man in a shallow grave who were coming to, according to him, attack his farm. He claims that he buried that man because that man's body would have been eaten by the jackal. Not too long ago, we were dealing with a story of a farmer and his accomplices killing 2 black women and feeding them to the pigs. Things have been happening in the farm. And I hope that people like Donald Trump and his friends here in South Africa are watching these stories unfold.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Unlock exciting bonus prizes when you top up your Betway account with a Betway Bucks voucher. From millions in cash and bonuses to extra bets and so much more, every top up is a chance to score big. Head over to leading retailers, including Pick n Pay, Checkers, Pep Stores, and Incredible Connection, and top up with Betway today. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. South African Responsible Gambling Program toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
702.
Nola knows.
11 minutes after 2 o'clock, our consumer rights feature Nola Knows with Wendy. Nola, your calls on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Let us try Wendy again. Wendy. Oh. All right, we're going to sort that out and see how we're able to get Wendy Nola back on the line. But I want to tell you a little bit about View for You if you have not had an opportunity to know who View for You is, but they are a friend of the show, particularly in this feature that we do, our consumer rights feature called Nola Knows. And Malcolm Kavi joins us in studio, founder of View for You. He'll be chatting to us today. But if you don't know what it is that they do, you're going to find out today, because they view the car for you and check all of the issues and assess against what the seller is telling you the car has. And you'll be surprised to find out that even brand new cars have issues. Yep. Such is the state of the buying and selling of cars market. We take your calls on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Wendy, I think we've got you now.
Hi, Relebogile. Am I back?
Wonderful. You are back with a
sorry,
bang.
Don't know what happened there. Okay, good. Thank you for holding the fort, and thank you for managing our listeners' expectations in terms of there being one of me and hundreds of them. I do my best, but I disappoint a lot of people inevitably. So apologies to any listener who is in that situation of not having heard back from me. So, regular listeners, as you say, will know our guest, Malcolm Kavi of View for You. So he and his team inspect cars, and not just cars, but homes, holiday accommodation, caravans, whatever you want, for people who can't check out things themselves. And so when it comes to cars, and preferably the inspection should be done before the person signs the purchase agreement, but they look out for, they have a menu of services, obviously at differing prices, but essentially they will, if you want them to, look for things like, car mileage being turned back, which is a big issue, whether the car's had a major accident and subsequently repaired, not too well, etc. They are very active on social media. They post videos of car inspections, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There is the occasional good one, which is heartwarming. And they give consumers through the platforms great advice along the way. So recently, View4You signed a collaborative agreement with South Africa's largest used car dealership, WeBuyCars, which is currently selling between 15 and 16,000 cars a month, and they're still growing at about 20% per year. So this pilot project got underway at a particular showroom in Gauteng, WeBuyCar office, and it ended abruptly with immediate effect yesterday. And Malcolm issued a statement saying, while this arrangement may make much business sense, it does not make godly sense for us to continue. View4You remains steadfast in upholding its values, independence, and credibility. So I thought it would be important to have Malcolm in the studio to tell us, or with us, but he is in studio, to tell us a little bit more about what happened. So, Malcolm, welcome.
Nice to be here again, Wendy.
I wish I was in the studio with you guys. Could you just tell us very briefly how this, I'm not sure what you'd call it, joint venture or collaboration worked, and how it was intended to work?
Yeah, so Wendy, I think the intention of it was very good. The way it was pitched to us, there's two amazing guys that we were having meetings with continually from WeBuyCars at the head office. It was quite a few meetings before we could go ahead to iron out everything. So the purpose of this was for View4You to be on the floor to help. First, it was they wanted inspectors on the floor, and we refused. We said, no, we will not have inspectors on the floor. That might just tarnish and might mess up our credibility and our independence, but we will have sales reps on the floor. We then assigned sales reps. This was at, we said we'll do a pilot program, and this was at WeBuyCars the South, which is all good. We went ahead and done it, but behind it was that we should help consumers, walk-ins, help people make bookings there. You know, close to purchase inspections was what was sold to us, saying that you guys will help. Because if you look at a DECRA inspection, it's done in June, but the car's only getting sold in end of July and August. And much can happen in that time. So close to sale, we then will be those people, you know. So we went in there with liberty thinking, okay, cool. We will go and we'll assist people, you know. We will do this freely and not change the method or model of how we work. And so that was basically it. That was the agreements that we'll make the bookings and we'll come in and we'll help people. So basically that was, I think, the pilots. As I said, the intentions were very good. I mean, you know, Jansen and Henry, you know, those guys are amazing, man. Their hearts for what they wanted to do is out of this world. However, what was pitched and what happens on the floor is two different stories.
Okay, so it sounds like you thought you had a meeting of the minds, but when it came down to it in practice, you weren't well synced in terms of your culture or the way you operate and whatever. I don't want to get into too much sticky detail, Malcolm, but what led to you taking down your signage and walking away from that deal yesterday?
Yeah, so before we made that move, so firstly, one must note that I'm a child of God before I'm a businessman. So there's a lot of praying that goes into View4You. There's a lot of seeking guidance from God directly, and certain things have to set in your heart for you to move in business. So what happened, it's been an ongoing, so we've had meetings. We've had a meeting, we've raised our concerns, we had another meeting, and being praying, it was set in my heart, right, now's the time to move, because we've said, for example, we were not liberated to operate the way View4You operates. We were not allowed to say what View4You says. We say what we say, whether it's on SABC1, whether it's on ENCA, you'll find us saying it, whether it's on in 702, whether it's on, you name the radio stations that we often on. But at WeBuyCars, we can't. So there was that, and then obviously a few other things.
Okay, so it was, I think, sounds like a little disconnect between the way you operate and the business feeling that was kind of a little bit too out there for them, in terms of, you know, businesses don't like being on social media and generally, and, you know, perhaps feeling that the whole story didn't appear in a post, etc., and your constant use of the word lemon. I mean, that's the words we consumers use. And yes, I think it sounds to me like a clash of sort of styles. So I have got a response from WeBuyCars director Van der Walt, which I'm going to share just now. But going forward now, how are you going to be doing other sort of collaborations with dealerships, or are you going to stick to your model where you get called in by the potential car buyer, and go and do the service where necessary without any going through a dealership kind of model?
Yeah. I think we will not have any collaborations with any dealerships going forward. We will stick to the model of them making a booking. Because what comes with really, we saw some things that were not pleasing to us as a company, or how we operate when we buy cars. I mean, for us, it became more of like, you can't post this, you can't say that, you can't do this. Forgetting that View for You is 100% for the buyer and the consumers. And unfortunately, consumers are on social media. We are active on social media because we're the voice for the consumers, and the consumers need to know what's going on where they cannot see. So, and we can't stop that.
Yeah.
And if we're going to get stopped at, we might as well shut View for You down. Its purpose is made null and void.
Yo, this sounds so serious, Wendy. And I think I hear what you're saying, Malcolm, that, and it's an important conversation that business owners need to have with themselves, is at some point it's not about the money,
100%.
it's about what you stand for. So in essence, you are saying there's a misalignment
100%.
with where you guys stand and what your purpose is at the end of the day with the other business.
100%. And Relebogile, one of the things I'll tell you, my sisters, that if the day we make it about finances above the people, we've lost the plot. Simple as that.
Sure.
Wendy will tell you, people don't know the work that we do, that we don't. So there's so much we've done freely for consumers, which we don't charge for. There are so many cases we've helped people freely, and it's not always about the money with View for You.
Yeah, I do appreciate that you always say, you don't have to come to us, but get somebody to do the inspection. There are other players out there, just don't go it alone, kind of thing. But I think your social media style, your sort of put it all out there for the consumer, is threatening to businesses. That's always going to be. And just to clarify, whatever you post on social media, if it's not totally true and in the public interest, then you lay yourself open to a charge of defamation. However, if it is true and in the public interest, then you can post what you want to post, and you have no, you're not vulnerable to be to lose, a legal challenge of defamation.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, lessons learned, you rather stay completely independent, do your thing. Have you ever had any of the dealerships that you've mentioned? Because even I, as a consumer journalist, I've watched some of those posts and thought, whoa, there's going to be a comeback on this. Have you had any legal challenges or other kind of challenges about what you've said not being true about the car?
Too many times. So I've had so many. Just today, before I even came here. So I've had legal challenges. I've been summoned to high courts. I've been in every case that we've done, we've won. We win the case before we even get to court. So we get this often. We get these letters of demands and this and that. And some will ask us, please change the wording. Don't say it like this. And we get this constantly. And the sad part is that these guys will ask us to do certain things, and jiggy, they're back doing that nonsense again. So I don't even know what to say. So we've had that. And the thing is with View for You, Wendy, we've made it clear. If we're not sure, we will not post something that we assume. We will never share things that we are not sure of. We will share it. And the sad thing is, many people say, but where's this? It's only a short video. Our inspection takes almost 2 hours. We just share a snippet of whatever there. We're not going to tell people what's happened on the car, really what's the detail, how this car was really smashed. It's not for them. That report belongs to the clients. You will see now, we're talking another story now with a big dealer right here in Sanson with the clients. And now EPSA is going to help lift that finance. And we're cooking something else there. it's crazy, basically.
Okay, so before we go to break, I just want to share a little bit of what Faan van der Walt, who's director at Rebuy Cars, said. He said, we engaged with View for You to understand their services and explore whether they could add value to our customers. We piloted a collaboration at our Joburg South branch, where they were given prominent exposure on our showroom floor, similar to how Capitec operates in our branches. WeBuy Cars gained no financial benefit from this. They were so he says he was clearly unhappy with you distributing pamphlets at the entrance and directly approaching customers. So there's obviously not a meeting of the minds over how you were going to get their prospective customers to have you assess their cars. He speaks about your pricing. It starts at 215 Rand for an accident repair history through to, diagnostics, police clearance, test drives, service history and all of that. The full Monty, the full package is 2,315 Rand. And he said that by contrast, WeBuy Cars inspection and condition reports already cover these aspects at no additional cost, with the exception of cases where information is unavailable from providers or where repairs were undocumented. So we don't believe it's in our customers' interest to pay extra for services that we already provide. We also feel that View for You's positioning suggests that car dealers are untrustworthy and their communication often uses fear-based messaging to attract clients. And I think that's where I'm saying there's always going to be a disconnect there with your no-holds-barred approach and the industry being defensive about, don't say avoid a lemon, because you're saying that everything here is a lemon, and unless the person pays you to do a report, they're going to buy a lemon. So I can understand that kind of causing friction. WeBuy Cars went on to say that they have a commitment to transparency. Every vehicle undergoes a condition report and service history. And we actively encourage customers to inspect vehicles themselves and to use independent professionals if they wish. And many clients do, in fact, make use of third-party inspection services. He says that our focus on service and transparency has significantly reduced customer dissatisfaction in recent years. With fewer clients approaching the motor industry ombudsman for help, and those that did, which was 0.37% of sales, 81% were resolved prior to ruling or ruled in WeBuy Cars' favor, and the remainder were settled in line with the ombudsman's recommendations. They said with the amount of tests that you were doing on their floor didn't justify the business partnerships, etc. In closing, our customers are always free to use any inspection services for additional peace of mind, which is good to know, so they're not going to discourage it. And I have to just say, in fairness, as a third-party journalist who's been in the consumer journalism space for a very long time, and certainly way before WeBuy Cars started, I think it was 14 years ago, that I have to say, in fairness, that the number of complaints I get about WeBuy cars from people who've bought them has dramatically reduced in recent years. So I'm just one consumer journalist with one inbox, and so that's possibly neither here nor there, but just to record that they have reduced, and the cases that I do take up, they are very quickly resolved. So I just thought it was an important development, given how big they are in the industry, and also just to get on record that, whatever the disagreements and incompatibilities around this deal was, that their clients, that they're still welcome, because some dealerships don't, still welcome if somebody wanted to get you or any of your competitors, Malcolm, in to inspect the car before they bought, to get total peace of mind, that they wouldn't discourage that. And that's that. I want to talk to you a little bit more about one of the cases that you did raise this week on socials, Malcolm. Relebogile, have we got time to start it now?
We are going to be heading to news, so let me suggest that we start it when we come back from the news. But sure. I'm going to ask, just from an ops perspective, the partnership being done does not change what the business has been doing all along. Different people can still access you. I saw somebody tweeting the other day, what's the name of that company again that you can call before you buy a car? So I see the word is out there. And I don't think when partnerships or collaborations end, it's always a loss. Sometimes it's a nice learning curve for both businesses to assess where their priorities lie. So obviously, as you said, Wendy, it's a good thing that We Buy Cars has made clear that if a customer does feel like they want to get the services of Malcolm or anybody else, they still are welcome to do so. But it's no longer going to be in the way that it was done before. And of course, Malcolm is still available to do what he does. So we're going to head over to the news. When we come back, we continue in our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows. It's 2:30, time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. Gauteng police say since July 2021, more than 337 kidnappers have been arrested by the anti-kidnapping task team, with more than 146 illegal firearms seized at those crime scenes. This follows the death of a wanted kidnapping kingpin in both South Africa and Mozambique, who goes by the nickname Dollar Man. He was shot and killed during a confrontation with police officers in Kempton Park last night. Following the shooting, officers rescued a kidnapped businessman from a shack in Alexandra. In Mitchell's Plain in the Western Cape, schools will have been disrupted by claims of a gun-wielding person on the grounds. The reports have been dismissed as fake news by the Western Cape Education Department, while police have also confirmed that there was no such incident. Officers have, however, been dispatched to Princeton High School in Mitchell's Plain. And the first robotic surgery used for living donor kidney removal has been performed successfully at Tygerberg Hospital. The surgery was done on a 45-year-old woman donating the organ to her daughter. The procedure makes kidney removal less invasive for living donors. The surgery was performed by urologist Dr. Danilo Duplessis using 4 robotic arms and controlled remotely via an immersive 3D console. We'll have more on these and other stories at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in the Germiston area, if you're heading towards Boksburg, there's an accident scene. This is on the N12 eastbound, N12 eastbound between the R24 split and Croft Road. This is causing delays. Avoid that route if you can. Also, bumper-to-bumper traffic due to roadworks in the Devland area between the N1 and Union Avenue. That's on the Golden Highway. There's also slow-moving traffic. This is in the Midrand area heading towards Centurion. N1 northbound before New Road. And there's delays stretch all the way from Allendale. Not yet clear what's causing this delay. So if you're in and around the area, please let us know. WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Irene area. This is on Nelmapius Drive, approaching Main Road. Also, if you come across any other traffic issues, you can also WhatsApp us, SMS us on 31702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
I am Alula Madlamini, an avid Talk Radio 702 listener. Have been listening since way back when it was medium wave all the way till now. Talk Radio 702 is, it forms part of the network of what my life is made up of, from God to my family to my joy. 702 is my magazine of life. The depth and width of knowledge, from fun to spiritual knowledge and fulfillment. So I find everything on 702, so much that it is the only radio station that I listen to from Monday to Sunday. I am totally sold out on Talk Radio 702.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
It's the clarion call for the 26th Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Choose your days carefully because this time we're going all out as the heavyweight jazz at Lincoln Center with Wynton Marsalis make a triumphant return to the Sandton Convention Center on the 26th and the 28th of September 2025. Alongside the already star-studded lineup of over 60 world-class acts across 4 stages. On second thoughts, we recommend you just buy yourself all 3 days via Ticketmaster. Take me there.
Tip your way to glory in the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge, the free-to-play horse racing game with daily cash giveaways and massive jackpot prizes. Pick all the winners on the race card and you could win 100,000 Rand. Bet 50 Rand or more on your selections using the Bet Slip feature and you could walk away with 1 million Rand. Visit punterschallenge.hollywoodbets.net today and tip your way to the top. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
Oh, hello. Let's do a little word association. I'll say some phrases, you see how they make you feel. Retirement, credit card balance, another interest rate hike. Still calm? Well then, you've got the F Factor. It's that special something that comes from having a clear financial plan to manage and protect your finances. If you broke into a sweat, you probably don't have it yet. Visit livewithconfidence.co.za to up your F Factor. Sanlam. Live with confidence. T's and C's apply. Sanlam Life is a licensed life insurer and authorized FSP.
Coming up
On 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 drivers coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. John Perlman, how are you doing?
Doing well, thanks. And you? And good afternoon to all the listeners.
I'm doing well. What's coming up on your show today?
So coming up, first of all, there's a really alarming article that's been published on the Daily Maverick site, Relebogile, about the state of emergency services. On the one hand, the shortage is trained and crucially hired personnel, but the big number that's really alarming is the shortage of ambulances. We're going to look at that in a lot more detail after 5 o'clock. What is going to be done about that? Of course, some people will say, well, the best way to do it is to vote in a new government. Well, that's a way off, but we do have some by-elections that have taken place. Wayne Sussman, after 3, will give us a pretty good idea of what happened in those. A lot of people who have been looking to sell their electricity into the grid or in some way connected to the grid while making their own arrangements via solar have been put off by some very high tariffs. There's some relief on that. We'll talk about that at about 10 minutes to 5. I'm sure lots of other stories will happen while we're busy.
There we go, 702 Drive with John Perlman, coming up from 3 to 6 p.m.
702.
Nola Knows.
We continue with our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows, as we take all of your different consumer-related issues. But we've been having a conversation with Malcolm Kavi in studio with us, founder of View for You. And what their business does is they come and his team, they inspect your caravans, your vehicles, different modes of transport, and they can share with you what the status is, the actual status, in an attempt to sort of deal with the dodgy dealerships and car sellers that are out there, and they're able to assist you with actually seeing if what you're being told is what is accurate about the vehicle you're trying to buy. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Wendy, so you were about to pick up on something else.
Yes, something that Malcolm posted about earlier in the week. It was a very satisfying case about a car which was sold with what seemed to be, on the face of it, decent mileage, but turned out to have what the industry calls a haircut, to have had a haircut, turning back of the mileage fraudulently, and quite a hectic one at that. And when you presented the dealership with the evidence, they capitulated and refunded the buyer. So I want you to share some more details about that with us. Rather leave out the dealer's name for now because I haven't given them the right of reply. But the rest, go ahead and spill the beans.
Let's spill the beans. So what happened with this client? It's a guy that knew View for You, and he's like, "Hey, call Malcolm." And go see him. So this lady made a turn to our offices, crying, tears all over. I'm like, what's going on? So she's like, there's my car here. I suspect something and I'm not sure. And I said, okay, no problem. Let's do the digging. So obviously we're on this campaign of dealing with mileage manipulation and, people being sold cars with defects, and they're being sold under false pretense. So with our investigation, we did what we needed to do. And we found out that this car, I'll just give a quick background on this car quickly. So this car was actually...
Sorry, can I ask you what kind of car was it? Let's
yes,
share
it was an
that. What are we talking
Audi
about?
Q7. Audi Q7.
Okay.
A very nice vehicle.
Lux.
Lux line. Very nice vehicle. So what had happened with this client obviously bought this car from this dealer. And this dealer, I've had issues with this dealer already. This dealer's also written a letter of demand and also wants to summon us to court. And I warned him. And that's Wendy, there's so many of them that we've been through with this. So I said to this guy,
Why do I feel like you enjoy this, Malcolm?
Because we work with truth. We are children of God. We work with truth.
Wendy, he's having a bit too much fun. It's like every time he gets a summons, he's like, yes.
Yeah, because that's what happens, right? You do that, you excel us in the spirit. So it's good anyway. What happened? So I phoned the owner. I say, listen, did we not warn you? Did we not warn you that the next time we find this, we're going to escalate this somewhere else now? Because remember, there are other regulatory bodies, and which I won't mention here, and other departments that are in contact with you for you that are got their eyes on many dealers that I think in the next few months, we're going to get a shock in this country. What's going to be happening with
That'll be good.
Yes, it's going to be very good. It's going to be very good. And so anyway, so let me give you a quick story of this car. So this car was actually bought at We Buy Cars. It was bought from We Buy Cars by this dealer. And that they wanted or bought it for 80,000, right? I think it was auction because We Buy Cars had open thing for dealers, which We Buy Cars did the right thing. They did everything right, and then it was on 295,000 kilometers on the clock already, and this was early this year.
Okay.
This dealer sold this vehicle to this lady. Guess what? The mileage was 160,000.
From almost 300.
From 300,000, 140,000 haircuts taken off. And the price was sold, the car that they bought for 80,000, they sold it to this lady for 170,000 rand. So I said, there's no way I'm letting this slide. I phoned the guy. I said, listen, my man. He says, hey, pastor, because they call me pastor because I'm in ministry, and he's like, hey, pastor, no, I'm sorry, pastor. We will. I said, you do this right now. I put her on the call with this guy. She drove to the dealer. Right while I was waiting, she phoned back. She confirmed that they've given me all my money back and they're willing to pay for the next inspection wherever I want to buy a car. So,
and now he wants to sue you.
No. No, he doesn't want to. No. He gave the lady back her money, every single cent.
Good.
He gave her back and
took
the vehicle. And then he says to the lady, if you find another car, we'll pay for your inspection. He says to the lady.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
So, but the thing is now, but this dealer comes to me and he says, why are we posting the car? He wants to now, he's going to lose money. I said, what, are you trying to catch someone else? I said, we will not remove that post with that car number plates. And so we left that car with the number plates online. No, man, we can't. You know what? God is about justice and righteousness. And it's time we stand for these things, Wendy. Helping people and delivering for them is more important than us bowing to the finance and the money systems of this world.
You're speaking my language, Malcolm.
Amen.
Can I just ask you a quick technical question?
Yes.
This woman, what was it about the car that made her suspect that there was a problem?
She just had this. She went to see this guy. This guy said, hey, the best person is go to Malcolm. I just looked. I said, yes.
Okay.
There was a light on the dash. Then I said, no, we'll dig deeper. And yes, in our digging deeper, poof, it was exactly that mileage manipulation.
Okay. Brilliant. Well done in that case. I think you are absolutely amazing. And each case teaches people, please don't buy cars, especially obviously a second-hand car, without having it properly checked out, because it's so much money and you're exposing yourself to so much risk if you just trust everything you're told by a salesperson as being 100% the truth.
And Wendy, just to share something quickly on this mileage manipulation. You listen, guys, I beseech you all again by the mercies of God. Do not just trust a dealership and they're selling a car at certain mileage. Please, again, we're going to ask you all from Radio 702. Please stop it. I mean, I said yesterday while we were taking our stuff down at We Buy Cars, a certain dealer guy comes to me. He's like, taps me. He's like, hey, man, I've seen you. I follow your work. We love what you guys are doing. A dealer, mind you, this is a dealer. He's saying, you know what, you guys, thank you. Thank you all. Hey, you're doing amazing. And he says, can I ask you a question? I have a case. So he has a problem. He bought a car from We Buy Cars, and this car has mileage manipulation from We Buy Cars. But mind you, We Buy Cars also gets caught by people. They manipulate the mileage and they sell the cars to We Buy Cars. It's not We Buy Cars who's manipulating the mileage. And that's a sad thing.
I have confirmed that.
I'm glad that you're saying that.
And it's a sad thing. It's a very sad thing. And then it'll be like, it's We Buy Cars. I've been in a case where I've seen We Buy Cars, honestly, when it's highlighted to them, they take the car back, they try their best to make it, and they do it. What I need to highlight as well is that, so this dealer says to me, I laughed at him. So he says to me, now, Malcolm, I'm in a situation here. I said, what's your situation? So I already sold this car to someone else and I made 100,000. So he says, I actually want to meet this guy someday. So he's a nice guy, man. So he says, you know what? Now I've spent this money. What do I do now? Because I can't pay this lady back this 100,000. Although We Buy Cars will fix my problem by taking the car. So that's another situation.
He doesn't want to lose his profit.
So due diligence is a must. Yes, Wendy?
Yeah, so just on that score, Van der Walt of We Buy Cars said to me just today that this mileage is a big issue, and he says it's consumers themselves that are also doing it. I'm like, so when did it become so easy to do this in the electronic age? I mean, is it like, can one Google this and turn mileage back? I shouldn't put that suggestion out there, but yeah. So it is simple. Okay, so then everybody that's in the business of selling cars needs to suspect that it might have been done on a vehicle of a certain age and find the checks, get the service history and all of that. Okay.
I always encourage guys to get a legit service, because even this dealer is like, Malcolm, I used to do this as well. It's very common. I mean, if you go on Facebook now, you'll see ads, contact me to reverse your mileage, contact me to do mileage corrections, contact me. It's common. It's very common.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Scary. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any of our listeners wanting to jump in and talk about
there is somebody on the line. I'm going to take them quickly before we go for a break. Mwago in Polokwane. Go ahead. You had an incident as well with a vehicle.
Hi, Relebogile, Wendy and Pastor there. I had a bit of a problem with my wife's vehicle, Mercedes-Benz. It has mechanical warranty, and then one day, just like on a Sunday, last Sunday, when we tried starting it, it didn't start. Took it to the guy that fixes cars. They said it had a problem with a steering lock.
Okay, steering lock.
Fine. It had a mechanical warranty. Only did we realize, did you get told that it's not covered by mechanical warranty, and it's a component that I personally did not know exists on a vehicle. So yeah, it's still with me curious. We forked out something like 35K to have it fixed.
Yeah. So this is I'm so sorry that happened, first of all, because for anyone to be hit with a 35K car repair bill when you think you're covered by a warranty is crushing. The problem with I'm taking it's an aftermarket warranty. The car was out of its OEM warranty, and you then bought a product that you thought was going to give you peace of mind. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so please, we've discussed this on the show a few times. Those warranties are very, very, very limited. They are nowhere near to the warranty that you get, the original warranty that you get from the manufacturer of 5 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be. And the exclusions are killing. So one of the things that's quite common is, and I think it was you, Malcolm, who taught me this. They'll say, okay, there's 100,000 Rand cover, and you think that's great, but there's a limit on each of the components. So, so that means, they only pay, 20% of the problem with that component, and so you end up with a huge amount to pay in. And as you've discovered, there are certain things, and it's usually the things that go wrong most often, that they just completely exclude. So it is a problem, and they all kind of, some are a little better than others, but they're always problematic in terms of what they don't cover when you need them, when you need the help. So I don't know what else to say. If it's there in the small print, you don't really have a leg to stand on in terms of challenging them, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. I don't know if there's anything
we've learned our lesson.
Yeah. Sure, big expensive one. Sorry.
So sorry, Ngwako, for that. I see your other messages and calls. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Chris Vick asked, 5 years from now, when they ask you about CD, what would you say? What have you learned from her? And that is, you bring your whole self into a room. You leave nothing behind. CD had a weight thing. She was a big girl, but she carried it with pride. Even though she was continuously attacked and vilified. But that did not make her coward. She remained confident.
How beautiful was that tribute from Eldrin Sampier. Oh, and this is just heartbreaking.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is back. With just one ticket, experience unforgettable music, mouth-watering food, bold fashion, and vibrant art. From Saturday the 20th to Sunday the 21st of September, celebrate with friends and bring the family for a picnic on Sunday. This year, DSTV celebrates 30 years with international headliners, South Africa's hottest talent, and a feast that's as big as the vibe. It's Africa's biggest music and food festival. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star and supported by 702. More on deliciousfestival.com.
Spring has sprung at Stodell's Garden Centres. Transform your garden with 50% off on a massive variety of plants and also 50% off a wide selection of pots. Experience the colour, happiness and buzz of spring when you shop at Stodell's Garden Centres. Visit Stodell's at Bryanston, Ferndale or Menlo Park and add a burst of colour to your garden. Stodell's. Create happiness. Offer ends 7 September. T's and C's apply.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
702.
Nolan knows.
9 minutes to 3 o'clock. We're going to jump straight into all of the calls coming through. 011 883 702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We have Ibrahim from Johannesburg. Ibrahim, go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. I wanted to find out, I bought a vehicle from one of the big auction houses last year, and it was under 100,000 kilometers, so we decided that we're going to take it in for a service to the agents. And then when we went in towards the agents, they said this car has already been here, and the mileage has been taken down by 30,000. So unfortunately, the service is not going to be honored. So I don't know, what should I do in this case?
I'm sorry to tell you that when you buy something on an auction, whatever it is, including a car, it's pretty much a foot-to-foot deal. It's not covered by the Consumer Protection Act, and nor are private sales. Only sales that are done company to consumer and not on an auction. So unfortunately, there's no recourse because you literally, they said, here's the car, you can look at it, you can touch it, you can't test drive it, but you buy it, and it's anything wrong with it, that's for you to deal with. They are required to disclose as much as possible, but I'm guessing the auction house will say, well, we didn't do any turning back of mileages. We didn't, this is how it was sold to us. Malcolm, lucky to have you with us. In terms of, do you do any work? You can't test drive the cars, but do you go in and look at cars on auction for people and find out as much as you can about the background of those cars, given that it's a foot-to-foot deal?
100%. We are allowed and been very accepted at every single auction house in South Africa. We do that. We do come across this quite a lot. That happens at auction houses, and you said it well. Auction houses disclose what they're selling as it is that way, and you move forward. I want to just add something while we're on this auction topic. South Africa, if you can get ownership history before you buy a vehicle, please try get ownership history. And once you see that the vehicle was bought at an auction house, please don't rush. Dig some more. Majority of the vehicles on dealers' floors are vehicles that were bought at auctions and mileages were reversed, and that's why the service books are no longer there. And let me carry on. So some dealers get a service book, but they take it back to what the last service was. They take the mileage back to what the last service was, and they sell the car. For example, at 120,000, I don't even record services anymore. So if I go to Ford, you'll find out my Ford, you'll get that service record. Although my Ford is on 250,000. So the dealer will reverse the mileage up to about 130,000, close to what my last service was. And it shows like my service was legit. Be very careful.
Yeah, but wouldn't it also show that you've missed a whole lot of services?
It won't
That's
show.
not ideal.
It won't show. It won't show because remember now I've got a service book that shows that I lost donuts in 120. My next one is 135. I've reversed the mileage to 132. So my next one is still coming.
Oh,
That's what they do.
I see.
Yes.
Sorry, I had a
yes.
bit of a logic lapse there. Yes, got you. Very
so that's
clever.
what. So these
okay.
they're masters at this thing, man. If there's no service, legit service history, bye bye. I tell all my clients.
Bye-bye, yeah,
I tell all my
exactly.
clients bye bye. Yeah.
Or no spare key. That's another big one. You don't.
There's a question coming here. Relebogile, please ask Pastor, now that you've become our consumer rights feature pastor featuring cars, they're asking about how you charge for your services relating to inspections. The cost of inspection may be minute to the cost that may follow of if South Africa doesn't take advantage of your expertise. That's from Linda Nkosi.
Yeah, so our services are really broken down simply. So for a full visual mechanical inspection, testing everything on the car, motor, undercarriage, inside, everywhere is 750. If you want us to run a diagnostic, plug the machine in, scan different modules, control modules in the car, check out, that's 700. If you only want us to run like a full accidents repair history reports, we charge 215. If you want us to check a clearance check if the vehicle wasn't stolen, involved in any crime activities, is 350. And if you want us to run a test drive and check if for noises and sounds, we charge like 650. But if you do it with any other service, we then charge you only 300 for the test drive, any site service.
All right, I'm trying to see if there was one more that was coming through. Somebody's saying, but isn't it a crime to reduce mileage on vehicles though? This is why.
Yeah.
This is why Malcolm gets so upset, because it is a crime. This is Tate from Broad Acres. So just reiterate, it's fraud basically.
Yeah. So there are, while I was driving here, I was just smiling and saying, I thank God that we are getting somewhere with this. There will be something released soon where there will be people that will be fined and so forth for that stuff. And I'm not talking small money, big money. So it's just something that's going to be paused for now. You know what they're doing? Listen to me. You know these dealers of Quebec, listen to me. These people are crooks.
What are they doing?
You know what they're doing? You know what they're doing now? They say, we cannot confirm mileage to our knowledge. I'm telling you, they do that.
So we can't confirm, but to our knowledge.
To our knowledge, so you can't hold them liable. Correct.
Oh.
And they put it in their contracts. They squeeze it in. So when you on them, they say, but it's written here.
Okay, sorry, there's a question because we're running out of time. They say, this is so inexpensive. I have a follow-up question. Is an inspection carried out on vehicles bought already? So you can, if your vehicle is bought, your challenge is going to depend on what's found and if you want recourse.
100%.
That's what the challenge is, because many of us don't read fine print. By many of us, I think you're probably the only person, Malcolm and Wendy, that read fine print. And also because it's still good to know where you are at with your vehicle. Even if there is no legal recourse, it's good to know. Details where we can find you, view for you. View the number 4.
YOU.
YOU
yes.
is where you can find them. They're also on the socials. Follow them so you can see the different vehicles that they are inspecting. Wendy Nola, Malcolm, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let me get this right, Ron. You're a plumber by day and Pretoria's smoothest wedding DJ by night.
Yeah, it started out as a passion and now I've got bookings until December. And a smoke machine that needs its own seatbelt.
And you sold your car to buy a van through We Buy Cars.
Brew, it was music to my ears. Zero admin, no long queues. They pulled in, checked it out, and before I knew it, I had cash in the bank.
Now that's a banger. We Buy Cars. Geared for your passion, geared for you.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Backed by popular demand, legendary jazz icon Kenny G will be performing at the Super Bowl at Sun City on Friday, the 3rd of October. Get ready for an unforgettable night of timeless hits and pure musical magic. Get your tickets from webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Breakout Events and 702.
Relebogile is on X at Relebogile M.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons. We are back tomorrow. PrimeMediaPlus.com or download the Prime Media Plus app for any of the conversations you may have missed. And our email 702afternoons@702.co.za.